How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today I want to talk about the new best 5 guns on the attacker side for this next season, Shadow Legacy. The one thing I noticed when I went through my whole top 5 list is I have so many top 5s and tier lists and stuff like that from previous, but I've never done a gun list or a weapon list at all. So today I'm just going to go over attacker guns, and that's because we are totally entering into Rainbow Six Siege 2, as some people are calling it, and that's just because the sights are so different and they change a lot of the weapons' recoils. So I've been through testing them, just seeing which guns are still really good and which guns have definitely gone down a little bit, and I got my top 5 now. But before that, guys, go down into the description and hit on that Twitter account and give it a follow. I'm going to start using it soon, so if you want to stay connected, just go ahead and hit a follow. Literally only has like 50 followers, but hopefully I'll see you guys there. That's where I usually answer DMs and stuff like that from you guys. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get into the number 1, and I just want to kind of give you my take on how I determine which gun's the best. First of all, I look at the damage, of course, and the fire rate, and then calculate the DPS by multiplying the two together and then dividing it by 60 to find the damage per second. So that's where these numbers are coming from. I'm not just making them up, but we're going to start off with an easy one that has always been considered one of the best guns in the game, and that is the F2 that Twitch has. So that weapon statistics, it has 37 damage, 980 fire rate, and for a total damage per second, it is at 604, which is actually extremely high. Now, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but in the next season, the F2 is actually losing its ACOG, but it is getting the 1.5x. You might think that is a nerf, but it actually isn't when it comes down to the F2, and that's because the F2 does have some recoil. The gun is really rewarding once you do learn the recoil pattern, but until then, it actually is not very beginner friendly. But with the 1.5x, it does feel easier to control that recoil, and it's easier to control for someone that doesn't play Twitch a lot. So that's kind of my situation. I don't really play Twitch a ton, but when I have played with it with the F2 and the 1.5, I've done pretty well compared to when I used to have the 3x ACOG. As for the other attachments, you could do any of the muzzles. So you could do the muzzle brake, you do a compensator, you can do a flash hider, or even a suppressor, and then you're stuck with the vertical grip. Unfortunately, Twitch isn't the best operator, the most useful operator, so the F2 isn't played too much, but I definitely think it deserved to sneak on the list at number 5 there. And I'm going to go into number 4, and this is a gun that's kind of getting a nerf this coming season, Shadow Legacy, and that's the G8A1, and that is IQ's gun, and then Amaru also has that same weapon. As for your damage statistics, the gun does hit at a 37 damage, 850 fire rate, and for a total DPS of 524. That's actually pretty solid stats, but it's not that high and it doesn't seem that high. But the thing with the G8 is the stats don't tell the whole story with it, because this gun has very comparable stats to other really good guns here, like even the R4C on Ash. But the thing with the G8 is previously it did have the ACOG, but it is going to be losing that. But the other things that are even more important in my opinion is you have a angled grip choice, and you also have a 50 bullet capacity on your magazine. So that's really good for pre-firing, and just in general, it's good to have more bullets in your mag, of course. Compare that to other guns that usually are sitting between 25 and 30 on the mag capacity. And the other great thing about this weapon is it's not like a normal LMG where it takes an eternity to reload. It's actually more like a AR, and it's actually a pretty quick reload time. So this gun's called broken by a lot of pros, and I get it. I mean, 50 bullets is a lot, and with those stats, it's actually borderline overpowered, but removing the ACOG is a good step to balancing it out, and it's still a top 5 weapon at that. And it's also on a very useful operator in IQ, and also a pretty good situational operator in Amaru. So no real bad thing about the G8A1, except if you're a lover of the ACOG, because you are going to be losing that and have to stick with a holo come next season, unless if they revert that. They of course could revert that. It is only the test server. Anyways, I'm going to quit blabbing about the G8. We're going to move on to the C7E, which is Jackal's primary weapon. This is on no one else. It's just on Jackal. A lot of people don't realize how good this gun actually is until they actually look into the statistics, and that is 46 damage, 800 fire rate, and a total DPS of 613. You compare that to the F2 and you realize that the damage per second is even higher than the F2, which seems like it has an incredible fire rate. The thing I really like about the C7E is the recoil is so easy to control compared to the other weapons of the next two. This is probably the easiest to control, and the C7E is going to be picking up the 2x sight come next season, also going to have the holo and just all of the standard sights as well. Now you may be asking, well, I know that the the AK-12 has a lower damage of 45, but think about it, 45 damage versus 46 damage. It makes no difference. It's still a 3-shot body shot no matter what, because as you know, health is 100, so 45 plus 45, you're still not there. 46 plus 46, basically the same difference. So the damage per second means more in that sense. So while we're on the subject of the AK-12, let's go ahead and get into that one. This is the weapon that Fuse originally had, and then Ace also picked it up in the previous season. So now Ace, you know, a very meta operator, has one of the best guns in the game, if not the best gun in the game. It's hard to compare these last two, but the AK-12 does have a damage of 45, as I said previously, and a 850 fire rate, and that totals to 637 as a damage per second. So compare that to the C7E, we're looking at about a 20 point difference between the damage per second numbers. So it is quite a subtle difference, but still it is a difference, so we have to put the AK-12 above that C7E. The weird thing about the AK-12 is that you're going to get attachments that are different per operator, as in mostly the scopes, because you're going to be able to get a 2.5 if you're playing Fuse, but 2 is the highest you can go if you're playing Ace. All the other attachments are the same exact across the board no matter which operator you play. However, keep in mind the scopes might change. They're still tinkering with the scopes and which operator should get which scope. So if these are changed once the lives come out, don't blame me. They're going to change a few things. Hopefully it's actually not these scopes, because I do think they're pretty balanced. Ace with the AK-12 and a 2X is absolutely insane. You got to try it out. So that's all for the AK-12. Very powerful gun on Ace and Fuse. But now for the next operator and gun, I guess. The new operator 0 has the SC3000K. Now when you look at the stats, you're going to be a little bit shocked, because it does have 45 damage, 850 fire rate, and a 637 damage per second. Now if you remember literally a minute ago when we were stating the AK-12 stats, these are the same exact stats across the board. So why is this one better than the AK-12? Well, the short answer is it's really preference, but for me, so far with the SC3000K, I've been noticing that the recoil is a little different. Now at the end of the day, this is literally just a reskinned AK-12 with a different recoil pattern, but everything else is the same. It sounds the same. It has the same glitches, like the reload glitch is the same as Ace's was beginning of last season. That to me was just a dead giveaway that this was a reskin of the AK-12. So if you like the AK-12, you're going to like this gun probably even more, because the recoil is easier in my books, but obviously that is personal preference no matter what. So that is my top 5 list, but I definitely have a few honorable mentions, and I did not mention the R4C in this one, and that was really a competition between the G8 and the R4C for me, but the R4C is still a spectacular weapon. So by no means am I calling any of these weapons bad. I'm just saying that the 5 that I have above, I think, are the best out of all of the attacker weapons. The other honorable mentions, I have to go with the M4 that Maverick has. I really like the C8 that Buck has, but it is not user friendly at all. The recoil is a little all over the place. Another weapon that's pretty good, the Type 89 of Habana. It just has a small capacity, bullet capacity of 21, so that's pretty small. And then of course there's so many other weapons that are good. I can name a ton, but this is just my top 5 list and a few honorable mentions. So let me know which ones you guys think is best. I think I would like to know a lot about what you guys think about the AK-12 versus the new SC3000K. Once you get your hands on it, compare the two and report back here and tell me which ones you guys think is best. I can't really decide, honestly. 1 and 2, those are a throw up, a toss up, honestly. I love the AK-12 because I'm so used to the recoil pattern, but the SC3000K, something about it just hits different. I love the feeling of it. Anyways, that's gonna do it for me. I will see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you guys want to see. Also, gameplays are gonna be coming. I don't know if they're gonna be on this channel though, or a different channel, because I like the way that this channel is focused around just talk about the game and stuff like that, news, all that good stuff. So maybe a different channel where I could post gameplays of this game and any other game and potentially stream, who knows. But I will see you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace out.